To unpack this a bit more further for us, we're now joined by energy expert Ruse Moleshe, and she joins us now via our video link. Ruse, thank you so much for your time this evening here in SABC News. I mean, we've seen that MOU being signed by Sasol as well as Eskom. Perhaps maybe let's start off here. Just take us through, the contents of the MOU and really what it means for the country, especially in terms of the significance of what this MOU would mean for the country.
Thank you for the opportunity. Ruse Moleshe here. In terms of the MOU, the important thing that is happening is that, remember that we have a Sasol that has been getting gas from Mozambique, transporting it through a pipeline called Romco to South Africa, supplying a number of downstream users, especially industry and Sasol itself. Now they are looking, obviously this gas in Mozambique is running out by 2027, so they are looking for alternative. Sasol is actually going to be an aggregator, so they need big users in terms to create a market that will be able to have large volumes, and Eskom is one of them. But Eskom is not going to be the only, it's not supposed to be the only party that will take this gas. And Eskom, because they are looking to diversify the energy mix, particularly in the power plants where they are going to decommission or they have decommissioned, and they now need to repurpose those to use gas. So that is what is happening.
And of course, we keep on hearing about the energy mix, and one would ask and say that will this eventually enhance the energy mix that we hear about from Eskom and the minister as well?
So if the deal works commercially, which still needs to be determined, of course, it will have an impact in terms of three areas. One, obviously, it will enhance security of supply for Eskom in terms of having feedstock for the plants that will be repurposed. It will also have a reduction relative to coal. It's better in terms of emissions, gas, it's cleaner relatively. So that is what it will achieve for Eskom. But what's also important that people are not looking at is that industry has been running out of gas, and this is industries like in the glass businesses, steel businesses, a whole lot of different industries that have a lot of employment are looking for gas. And if Sasol cannot find this alternative, there will be problems. So they are saying, for instance, in the next 9 months, they have to have this gas. So an aggregation between Eskom and all of these other users, and hopefully getting a better price from Qatar, as the minister says, I don't know, he will negotiate. That will bode well if it really happens.
And of course, this week, when it comes to the electricity matters, we saw this being discussed even in Parliament, and that pertains to the tariff hikes that we are yet to see from Eskom. Of course, this proposed 40% electricity hike. When we look at an MOU of this nature, would you say that, going forward, this could actually lead to more affordable electricity for the rest of the country?
Well, in my view, from a gas perspective, what would really reduce the price in the long run, of course, because we don't have the infrastructure now, would be to have indigenous resources within South Africa where we mitigate the risk of a foreign exchange and we produce the gas internally. And therefore it will be a rent-based price. That would really have a significant impact. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about importing it from Qatar. Of course, if it's bulk and significant and there's a good negotiation, it could be a price that is amenable. But we cannot guarantee that that price will reduce electricity prices in the long run.
Another factor, Ruse, is of course, the issue around the former Eskom contractor that we saw being arrested today and who was extradited from the UK to South Africa, who's facing 65 counts of corruption. Perhaps maybe just, if you can, just give us a bit of insights in that matter and just the prospects of that case.
So I'm not really an expert in law, but I can give you an indication to say, obviously, Eskom had governance issues especially with respect to the construction of the large infrastructure like Kusile, Medupi, Ingula. As a result of that, there are transgressions that were done. And so Eskom is committed to continue to take those that have been involved through the law processes and try to also regain what was lost with respect to that. But in the long run, what is important is trying to strengthen the governance within Eskom to make sure that that is not repeated. Because to be honest with you, we're complaining about electricity prices. If you're going to have governance lapses and corruption, that's going to have implications for your prices. So South Africa as well have a stake in what is happening in government entities. And I think we have not been vigilant enough from the onset to make sure that when we see these transgressions, that we stand up as civil society.
And at the same time, I mean, a lot of South Africans have been living load shedding free for at least 177 days now. And that's according to Eskom, who actually just released that statement about an hour ago. Perhaps maybe if you can just take us through, why are we seeing this path when it comes to sustainable electricity for now?
That is in line with what, because we're talking now, you were talking about extradition. That relates to the past. This is in line with the path that Eskom is on now, which is to strengthen the governance within Eskom and to strengthen performance and to present itself as an entity that can be trusted. They are on that path, and I think they are doing very well. And hence now you see that load shedding for a number of months has subsided. And also by looking at alternatives in terms of going forward, the supply sources like these gas projects and all of that, you can see that really the management and the leadership in Eskom is consumed with making sure that we rectify the problems of the past.
All right, Ruse, thank you so much for your time this evening here in SABC News. That is energy expert Ruse Moleshe there giving us her insights in terms of what is taking place in terms of the MOU and other factors when it comes to electricity in the country.